For the last year, man, the fans have just been like kind of harping on Matt Reeves. When are we going to get the Batman 2 script? Is it not going to happen? Is it canceled? Are they just going to do the DCU Batman and throw away what they did with the Batman with Robert Pattinson? Well, that's not the case because we know now that the script was turned in and several people are starting to read it and they say that it is fantastic and it is incredible. And recently, our boy Matt Reeves, the director of the Batman, talked to Josh Horowitz and gave us some tidbits about who the villain could be. This comes to us from IGN. They say the Batman 2, which starts filming early next year, currently has a release date of October 1st, 2027. If it makes that date, the sequel will arrive 5.5 years after the Batman. We know Robert Pattinson will reprise his role as the moody Cape Crusader, and Colin Farrell once again play the crime boss Penguin, although it sounds like it's a minor role this time, which it was last time, but he did have a show, which was fantastic.
So good. That show was so good.
But who will play the main villain this time around, and which character from Batman's Rose Gallery has Reeves plucked from the comics to bring to live action? In an interview with Josh Horowitz, one of the GOATs, Reeves kept his cards close to his chest, but did explain his thinking on the new villain and issued a tease that has sparked all sorts of speculation among fandom. I had a lot of ideas, and then Mattson Tomlin, who's my writing partner, we began the process of this by doing another deep dive into the comics, exploring the ideas that I had, Reeves began. He gave me some ideas that he had, and we sat together and we watched a lot of movies, honestly, and not all movies that are from the realm of Gotham, just to explore this story, because I knew that the way the movie ended, it was leaving us on the precipice. And also the way events sort of happen within the show, The Penguin, that there is an exploration to be had. And one of the explorations for me was to do something that pushes even further into the character of Bruce Wayne, because the first story is so much about Batman. Let's say we get to make 3. I have no idea. But if we get to make 3, I always wanted the movies to be focused on his character. Once you get past the origin tale, which we didn't quite do, but we did something that referred to his origins, then you start telling the Rogues Gallery story and that character's arc. And I never wanted to lose Rob at the center of these stories. And so that is really what we set our aim on. And so picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that goes into his past and his life. And that was what drove that discussion. I won't tell you where we ended up, but we're super excited about it. And I will say it's never really been done in a movie before. So we're excited. That is a lot in a little bit at the same time of what Matt Reeves has given us. And so, my friend, I want to ask you, based on the comments that Matt Reeves has provided us via Josh Horowitz, one of the GOATs of interviews that always ask the questions of the things that we want to know, who do you think he could be referring to when it comes to not losing the crux of Bruce Wayne and his history and where we could see that going forward?
Yep. That's where I'm going. That was a lead in. Yeah, I think my guess is Hush. We're right in the middle of Hush 2, a series that launched with the original creators of the original Hush storyline.
Hush,
Loeb.
Batman.
Yeah, Loeb and Jim Lee, who is the grand poobah of comics at DC, creative officer at DC or whatever it is, vice president. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, the top of the top. Yeah. And one of the greatest, to ever do it. So I feel like based on Hush's storyline and who he is as a character, it goes hand because he's pretty much the polar opposite of Bruce Wayne, or what would happen if Bruce Wayne made the wrong choices and
Right.
went the opposite path. So I think just based on listening to that interview with Matt Reeves, not wanting to lose the Bruce Wayne story, they kind of tapped on it a little bit in the first movie, but this gives it a lot more depth. If because you're still going to be talking about their childhood, I'm sure, between Hush and Bruce Wayne. I forgot Hush's alter ego's name. Is it Thomas something?
Thomas Elliot.
Yeah.
You like
And
that?
yeah, it's amazing. You've got it. And like he said, we've never seen him on screen before, or in the big screen before. I think that like the other villains, the other rogues gallery, I was processing. I was like, oh, maybe Clayface, but Clayface is so effects heavy. You would have to do it so effects heavy, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like that's kind of the hallmark of what Reeves is doing with this new run on Batman. It's like more, it feels more like ground level, like practical kind of like street level Batman, detective Batman, as opposed to fantastical superpowers that he's going against. So I think Hush, you do him well, you do his design well. He
Yeah,
doesn't
you could
have
do
to
really
do
well.
he doesn't have to have like super effect, an effects heavy kind of existence in
Yeah.
on screen. And just his dynamics, he also ties in with a lot of the villains that Batman, the normal villains that are in the Rogues Gallery. So he can kind of loop in some of them too. And then there's the whole like Jason Todd aspect with his character as well. So
And we talked about Robin. Remember, if Robin
yeah,
could work in this
yeah,
story, and there's
yeah,
a great Robin connection when it comes to
yeah.
Hush in this storyline.
And one
You-
of the guys I do, sorry, one more
no, it's
thing.
okay.
One of the creators that I follow on X is a guy by the name of Rob Liefeld, who was one of the founders of Image Comics, and
Yeah,
he actually posted
the
about
creator
this.
of Deadpool.
Yeah, that's right. Creator of Deadpool, Cable, and Youngblood.
Yep.
He posted on X and he said, "My vote is Hush." So he is the biggest comic fan, one of the biggest comic fans out there, and creators. So, I think he has a good beat on what could be done as well. So, yeah, I'm thinking it's Hush.
I think you're right. I would say this. So I think Hush is the perfect villain to introduce in the Batman 2, based on Matt Reeves saying, I never wanted to lose Rob at the center of these stories. And so that is really what we set our aim on. And so picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that goes into his past and his life, that is what drove that discussion. When it comes to Hush, Thomas Elliot and his family are deeply tied to the Wayne's family. And as we saw in the Batman 1, there is a lot of backstory and history that comes with the Waynes, the Arkhams, which is
Hmm.
from his mom's side of the family, that are extremely tied to what we are seeing go on in Gotham currently. On top of that, Thomas Elliot and his family, they were casted out and they were kind of betrayed by Bruce Wayne's family. And so Hush has an extreme vendetta against the Waynes. And so as we dive deeper into Robert Pattinson's Bruce Wayne, finally, and we finally get an establish of how important Bruce Wayne is to the other side of Batman, because don't get it twisted, both of these characters, the
I won't.
Batman and Bruce Wayne, are what is the essence of this character. And as we dive deeper into Bruce Wayne, what better character than Hush to really mess with who Bruce Wayne and what he means to Gotham and what Bruce Wayne means to the Batman in general. And I think that is a great way in. And so I would be really excited if they were able to use Hush in this way in the next movie.
And I mean, I say relatively new. I can't remember when the first Hush series came out, but it was a while ago already. But, when you think of the Rogues Gallery that has been so tapped into all the versions of Batman in the movies and the TV series and whatever. We go through Joker, Penguin, Two-Face, Catwoman,
The Riddler.
the Riddler, and again, Riddler's tied to Hush as well.
Yeah.
But all those characters, right? Those are kind of the core. And Hush is one of the newer ones. I feel like he will bring in the younger generation into the kind of Batman
Yeah.
fandom as far as the movies is concerned.
And I feel like it's a fresh breath of air or whatever. How do you say?
Fresh breath of Hush
Hush.
air.
Because like you said, he is newer and he hasn't been used, besides an animated movie,
Yeah.
which the
But
Riddler
didn't
was
they
Hush in
at
that,
the end
which was
of the
weird.
Batman, at the end of the Batman, um, they hinted at, was it Joker, right? Like an end
Well,
scene or
Joker
something.
Joker is in it, but he's not, like Matt Reeves has said he doesn't plan on having him as a main villain anytime soon. It
Okay.
doesn't mean that by 3, he is the main villain. I mean, it is the Joker, like
Okay.
he's going to be in there in some
Yeah, yeah.
capacity,
Yeah.
but I think he's really trying to like separate what they've done in past movies and really have this stand on its own. And so I
Yeah.
think Hush is a great way in.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
top of that, I think something else that is extremely tied to the Waynes and Bruce Wayne in his past and the elites of Gotham is the Court of Owls.
Oh
And
yeah.
so I really think we have not seen the Court of Owls in any movie before, which also ties into what Matt Reeves is saying. And this
Hmm.
is another way to connect it to Bruce Wayne's past with both of his parents, but also who Bruce Wayne is now as this socialite, elitist, wealthy person of Gotham, and how he can infiltrate this group as Bruce Wayne. So we're spending a lot more time out of the Batman suit within Bruce Wayne trying to understand what this group is, how they control Gotham, and how it's affecting the people of Gotham. And so I think using the Court of Owls is another great villain that hasn't been used on screen. That is a great way to tie into who Bruce Wayne is and who Batman is moving forward.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That was a great storyline. And I think I saw an interview with the actors from the Batman, like when they were promoting the movie, the first one. And they were talking about the Court of Owls of like, oh, that would be so cool if it was in the movie. Or is it, will it be in the movie? So, yeah, that could be, I can see, I mean, I know that Court of Owls, they had that one, was it, the character was named Talon, I think, the villain in that one. But Court
Yeah.
of Owls, I love it like it's a shadow group or like ingrained into the society. That feels like tone wise could play into what they've already
Yeah.
done in that first movie, as opposed to we have one bad villain that you're gonna fight in this movie.
He said that he's been watching movies with the other writer. He didn't say Batman movies, you know what I
Right.
mean? And
Right.
so obviously with the Batman one, it has heavy, heavy ties to Seven. It feels like, Seven, which
Hmm.
is extremely well known and fantastic movie. And so I'm
David Fincher.
wondering who he could what movies he could be watching. And so if it is it reminds me of like not like like the Thomas Crown affair or something like that that's like tied into like these socialites,
Hmm.
these mass balls and stuff
Eyes
like
wide
that.
shut.
Yeah, thank you. Like Eyes Wide Shut,
Right.
like, and so I could
Creepy.
really see him
Yeah.
kind of shifting the tone a little bit of what
Hmm.
two could be and watching those kind of movies to really dive into these like elitist socialites world and how Bruce Wayne could fit into that and to infiltrate that. And so I think that is something that I could definitely see happening in the next movie.
Hmm.